Welcome back to Every Frame. Today I'm going to explain a 2016 sci-fi short film called Iteration 1. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Woman awakens in bed, shocked by everything going on around her. She discovers she is imprisoned and looks to the single door in the room above where a light is present. She trod on something by mistake, tried numerous times to figure it out, but couldn't. The countdown began in the room and the light on the door would turn green as soon as she stepped on the button. Although she was unsure of what it meant, the noise grew more and more urgent. Soon the announcement's tone continues to echo as the woman dies, and then wakes up again, this time in panic. The woman was so alarmed by the overturned water glass that she frantically searched her surroundings. Then, while pleading for assistance, she began pounding on the door panel, but when there was no answer, the button abruptly lit back up, and a shadow of herself appeared. A new countdown of 10 seconds begins. The woman stared in shock at herself before reaching out and passing her hand directly through. She immediately became aware of a brain-computer port on the back of her neck, but before she could consider it, she died once more. For the third time, she woke up. She approached the water glass drop with less fear. She was aware of the regulations. Yet, she was surprised to learn that each iteration's activities are recorded and repeated from the previous one. She gathered herself together and began to ponder when it came to her that the button on the floor must be the switch for the iron door. When she awakens this time, she immediately goes to the button, and sure enough, the door lights up green. She then stands still, ready for the next iteration. When she awoke this time, she hurriedly went to the door without waiting for the light to turn green. Sure enough, the door opened. She is confused as she checks the room, which was empty except from a pillow on the opposite side and the same basic white walls. A woman stranded in the initial universe has only 60 seconds to live. If she doesn't succeed after that, she will be killed and then reborn. However, all of her previous deeds and behaviors are kept and carried out after each iteration of her. There is only one pillow in the room as you enter the second level, and then suddenly balloons start to drop into the space. The lady examines the cushion after picking it up. She discovers that it just has one brooch, a pin, and a number of balloons. We can all probably imagine how she gets through. She picks up a balloon and delicately punctures it, but nothing out of the ordinary occurs. She began to poke each balloon, but soon it was time for level 2. The woman's life was once more ended as the countdown came to a conclusion. When the woman wakes up again, she immediately heads to level 2. But with balloons all over the floor, how can she go through in 60 seconds? The woman is driven because level 2 is the same as level 1 and saves and executes her prior activities. As long as there are enough iterations, she will eventually survive the countdown before dying again and regaining consciousness. She discovers something unique, a balloon that made a sound as it hit the ground and contained something. The woman raised her hair to see a lock on the side of the door, which made sense to her. Then she took the balloon and immediately popped it. As soon as she took hold of the key and placed it in the lock, the door unlocked. She proceeded to the following level, but she was astounded by what she saw there. A large tree that extended into the night was in front of her, which perplexed her somewhat. She started to carefully study the tree for clues, but there were none to be found. However, there was an axe on the ground, and it was easy to see how to get through. She had to chop the tree down. In evaluating the axe lying on the ground, the woman also examined the robust tree. She noticed that time was running out, and she felt helpless. As a result, she cut the first and second with a symbolic raised axe before succumbing once more. The woman is stuck in another universe. It took her 7 attempts to pass the second level, but she is having trouble navigating the third level due to the enormous tree. She was anxious to battle after she awoke once more. She immediately rushed over, grabbed her axe, and proceeded to work felling the trees. But she only had 60 seconds to do it, and they would all continue to run until she had made it. She will be able to cut down the enormous tree only by waking up and dying again and again. She is clueless of her actual life count, but she can only continue because if she died when the time came, it would be inevitable. She had repeatedly tried to chop it, but when the enormous tree at last had a deep groove, it gave her more confidence. Even at the beginning of the challenge, she took a sip of water. The axe was no longer heavy because she was growing stronger. There was soon a chance that she might succeed, but as she continued to slice away, she saw the enormous tree was tending to its wounds. She found it hard to believe. She questioned whether cutting down the tree might not be the best option. She was in need. Everything she had appeared to be taken away from her. As the cut healed, she awoke once more. She was no longer motivated and was even prepared to die in 60 seconds while lying on her back. However, after a dozen deaths, she was left to deal with everything without any place to express her fury. When she tosses the axe to let out her frustration, she learns a new thing: the hole in the wall is glowing. She's a little confused. She wondered, is it still possible to cheat? The glow was gone. She drew her axe and began chopping at the wall. Eventually, a hole appeared in the wall. She walks out through that hole. The wall on the other side is also smashed by a man. The two simply stared at each other in shock, before slowly approaching and holding each other close. When they later woke up again, they were together again. Compared to the man's 16 iterations, the woman iterated 20 times. They decide to move forward together after taking a peek at the other side of the wall, but as the camera pans up, we see that there are a great number of chambers waiting for them. And the movie ends. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.